Hi, I'm Michael Williams. I'm managing editor of the Northwind student newspaper, and today we are joined by our new president, Dr. Fritz Erickson. Dr. Erickson, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here. In the coming year, NMU is anticipating a 3% drop in enrollment amongst a larger trend of declined enrollment over the last several years. How do you plan to approach that?
Well, it's a little premature for me to come forward and say these are the solutions for our enrollment, because one of the things I'm most interested in doing first is developing a comprehensive understanding of the culture of Northern, things that have gone in the past, understanding our academic programs in much greater depth than I do now. But I also know that Northern has an opportunity to reach out more, not only across the Upper Peninsula, but across the state. We are a regional university, and I think there are many opportunities that we have.
Well, on that, Northern is a mostly white campus. We have a 36-to-1 white to African American ratio, 30-to-1 white to Hispanic ratio. How do you plan to approach diversity?
Well, diversity is really a central point to me, both personally and professionally. And for me, it means finding ways in which you reach out to broader communities. I think it starts by recognizing that the state of Michigan, the percentage of the population that holds a bachelor's degree is in the low 20s. Our governor has rightfully put forward an initiative called Talent 2025 to grow that percentage to 60%. And I think it's an attainable goal if we find ways to reach out to broader-based communities. And I think there's some very specific kinds of things we can do to engage with the Native American community, to engage with urban communities, to engage with the Hispanic community. I think there are a number of communities we can work with.
Do you have any specifics on how we can do that?
Again, I've done that successfully at other institutions, but every institution is different, and it really is important to understand where our strengths are that could reach out into other communities. And so I don't know the answer to that question yet, but I intend to find out what that answer is.
Part of the problem that NMU has with non-white enrollment is retention. And from what I understand, you have experience with retention at your previous institutions.
I have.
Could you open up about that a bit?
Well, I think retention comes in a couple of different ways you can get at the issue of retention. One is you want to help students be as well prepared as possible coming to the university. When students first come, if you're an 18-year-old freshman, this is a big culture shock. The more we can help students understand what they're going to be in for as a college student and help them even earn credits before they start that fall freshman year, the better the chance that retention is. And so I think there are opportunities to expand what we're doing in the summer, to have students come to campus, become very much engaged, so when they hit the fall, they're really off and running in some very positive ways.
Last week, Board of Trustees approved an additional $500,000 for the early retirement program, which means that 36 faculty members are participating, meaning that we're losing a large chunk of tenured professors.
That's correct.
What position does that put us in?
Well, like most things, there are some real positive aspects and some challenges that come with it. Certainly from a positive perspective, one of the things it allows us to do is, as people near the end of their careers, it provides a wonderful opportunity for people to transition to retirement. It's a great way to do it. And it is a real loss because you lose institutional memory, you lose opportunities and a passion that people have had over the course of their career. So you do lose something with that, but you also gain the opportunity for new ideas. you know, new sets of engagement when you develop a younger faculty coming in. It also gives us a chance to really look at how our faculty are deployed and see where it's best to refill those positions and how to refill those positions. So all in all, I really believe that the Board of Trustees did exactly the right thing in expanding this to by another $500,000, because that allowed us to grant the request for every faculty member that applied. And I think that was a really good thing. And it will be an opportunity for us to really rethink and be able to move the institution forward.
Do you think that it puts non-tenured faculty into a compromised position?
I don't think it does. You know, the goal isn't to reduce the number of non-tenured faculty in this. I think our non-tenured faculty make an enormous contribution to the life of the institution. I'm a big fan of using non-tenured faculty in very precise kinds of ways where they can bring their professional expertise into a curriculum and provide a real high degree of relevance to that. And so people that have very specific skill sets can really add to it. But I'm also a big fan of making sure that the foundation of the university is really built on tenure and tenure-track faculty.
What kind of precise ways to use non-tenured faculty?
Well, let me give you an example. You know, you can find ways in which, if you are doing internships, for example, sometimes the supervision of internships is best done by people who have the most recency in the profession in which they are engaged with. And so having that recent experience in a profession can be very, very useful. And it should be, and if you can establish that into the curriculum, that makes the most sense. So it's not nearly as much as having non-tenure or non-tenure track faculty filling holes. It's using them in ways that can really contribute to the education of students.
Mm-hmm. University was given a 6% increase in funds based on a new education bill from the state. And in the last 30 years, state allocations for NMU have dropped from 65% under 39%. And I've heard some individuals, mostly faculty, ask how we can be considered a public institution if we are primarily funded through tuition and fees by students. That then correlates to increased tuition rates for students. How do you approach that issue?
Well, I think there are really two pieces to that issue. One is clearly over the last many years, the state has reduced the contributions that really impact the cost of education for students. You know, when I was an undergraduate in Michigan, the state funded about 80% of the cost of education. Today they fund, as you say, for us, in the upper 30s. That's a challenge because that's the single biggest contributor to the rising cost for students. But that is just a reality that we face. The challenge before us is how do we do everything we can to keep the total cost of education down? And I believe the way you really address it is focusing on time to degree. Because if you can help a student graduate a semester or even a year earlier, you get real savings. Because the cost of education, tuition only accounts for 38–39% of the total cost of education. If we can save a semester for a student and their family, we can really cut the cost for them.
Well, Dr. Erickson, we appreciate the time and good luck in the coming years.
My pleasure. We're really looking forward to it.
And thank you for watching.